Okay, so this was not part of the plan. I go to a music festival and somehow end up in a recording studio with a group of insanely talented women creating music in real time. And I'm just sitting there like, how is this my life right now? Welcome to FuggaBRAT. I'm Shelbi Fox. You know that feeling when you're standing in a massive crowd and the bass drops and suddenly the world feels like it's buzzing in sync with you? Yeah, music festivals. They're not just about good tunes and overpriced drinks. They're actually rewiring your brain while you're out there dancing your heart out. So let me just say, I go to a lot of music festivals. And one time I was in Chicago and I was waiting for a cab. And this woman turns up to me and she says, "Hey, are you going over here?" And I said, "Yeah, I am." She says, "Do you want to catch a cab with me?" I said, "Yeah, sure. Why not?" So we catch a cab together. And needless to say, we've been friends ever since. Let's just get into this. What exactly is happening in your brain at these festivals? First of all, you have a dopamine release. So, dopamine is kind of like your brain's happy dance. When your favorite song comes on and your brain is like, hell yeah, that's a huge dopamine release and it gives your brain a little reward. It's the same chemical that makes you feel good when you accomplish something or, well, honestly, even eat a big slice of chocolate cake. Anyway, when your favorite song comes on, you get this feeling with it as well, besides just that dopamine release. Live music also amplifies this release and it makes those particular moments feel just larger than life. It's the mix of the sounds, the lights, the energy from the crowd. It taps into that emotional part that's just right inside you in the center of your brain called the amygdala. That's why people get chills or you feel like you're floating when the music is just right. Festivals take your emotions and turn the volume all the way up. There's something magical about being surrounded by thousands of people who are there for the same exact vibe as you. Your brain pumps out this oxytocin, a social bonding type hormone, and it makes you feel like you're connected even with complete strangers. That's why those festival friends sometimes feel like family after just one weekend. One of the most unforgettable parts of my experience at a music festival happened inside the Gonzo Hotel recording studio. And I have to tell you, being invited into that room felt incredibly special because this was not just a casual jam session. This was a gathering of extraordinary women who are each making their mark in music. At the center of it all was my favorite, LP Giobbi. If you're familiar with electronic music, then you already know how significant that is. LP Giobbi is a world renowned DJ, producer, pianist, label founder, and one of the most respected artists in dance music today. As a classically trained jazz pianist, she has built a distinctive style that blends live piano with house music, creating performances that are both powerful and deeply emotional. She has been named the best producer in North America by DJ Mag in 2023 and has also performed at major festivals around the world. But what makes her truly remarkable is not just her success, it's what she has built for others. In 2019, LP Giobbi co-founded Femme House, a nonprofit organization dedicated to helping women and gender expansive creators learn music production, DJing, and the technical skills needed to succeed in the music industry. And that is a very big deal because for many years, the technical side of music production was dominated by men. LP Giobbi experienced that firsthand. She was often the only woman in the room while learning production. Instead of accepting this reality, she decided to create a better one. Femme House. Femme House offers workshops, boot camps, scholarships, and mentorship programs that give aspiring artists both the education and the confidence to build their own careers. It's not just about inspiration. It is about access. It is about practical skills. It's about showing people that they belong and then giving them the tools to prove it. What struck me the most about being there was realizing that LP Giobbi is doing something much bigger than building her own career. She is building a community. She is opening doors. She is creating opportunities that will impact the music industry for years to come. And because of her vision, artists from very different musical backgrounds are coming together in ways that are innovative, supportive, and incredibly inspiring. And that is exactly what I witnessed in that studio that day. One of the first artists to completely captivate me was Mikaela Davis. She plays a harp. Yes, a harp at a music festival. That alone is enough to make you stop and pay attention. But once she starts playing, you understand immediately why she has earned so much recognition. Mikaela Davis is a highly accomplished harpist, a singer-songwriter. Her performances transform the harp into something modern, dynamic, and emotionally powerful. Watching her collaborate with LP Giobbi was mesmerizing. The combination created a sound that felt both elegant and unexpected. It was one of those moments where you realize that music has no boundaries. And it reminded me that some of the most memorable experiences happen when artists are willing to experiment and just trust each other. There was something almost hypnotic about her performance. Just listen to this. It's absolutely beautiful. In the middle of all this excitement and energy of the festival, her harp created a moment where everything seemed to slow down. And that contrast made it even more powerful. Then I had the privilege of meeting Hayley Shines. Hayley brings an incredibly warm and creative presence. She's a musician, songwriter, and author whose work encourages people to express themselves and trust their own creative instincts. Inspired by Robert Hunter's poetry, Hayley says he helped give her voice. Just listen. I got home from my trip and there was a book of Robert Hunter's poetry on my doorstep that she had sent it to me. And it just gave me my voice. I started writing poetry from that. I stepped into myself for the first time as a woman because I was really able to own my creativity and channel things within my body that needed to come out and be healed. And Robert Hunter gave me that voice, but it is women on these stages that truly carry, I think, many of us in so many ways. And it's so important for women to be embodied and show up as themselves. My book, Heart Jam Journey, is a labor of love, and it is a way that you can find pathways to connect to yourself in a deeper way, almost like becoming best friends to yourself. It's a reclamation for women. It's poetry and stories, and that's why we're here.
That message was beautifully aligned with the atmosphere in the studio because that room was filled with women artists doing exactly that. They were listening, collaborating, and creating in the moment. Hayley's energy was genuine, joyful, and deeply, deeply inspiring. What I loved the most was how effortlessly she combined music and storytelling. She reminded me that creativity is not about perfection. It's about showing up and allowing something meaningful to emerge. Her book, Heart Jam Journey, arrives June 6th of 2026. And then there's Sarah Elaz. Sarah is one of those musicians who immediately command your attention. She's a bassist, a dancer, choreographer, and performer, and her background in both music and movement gives her this unique stage presence. What I found so fascinating is that she originally built her career as a dancer and then later taught herself bass, as in bass guitar. That combination shows in a way that she performs. She does not just play the instrument, she embodies the rhythm. And if you've ever felt that bass in your chest at a live show, then you know exactly what I mean. Bass is what your body feels before your brain has time to even analyze it. Sarah brought that energy into the room. What made this experience so extraordinary was seeing how all these women, each with completely different talents and backgrounds, come together in one room. Being invited into that studio was an honor that I will never forget because I was not just watching talented musicians, I was witnessing what happens when accomplished women support one another, share their gifts, and create something larger than themselves. And that to me is what Femme House is really about. When people are given the tools and the support they need, extraordinary things can happen.
Those unforgettable moments, the more intense the experience, the more vivid the memory. And that's why you're always talking about that one festival, even 5 years later. There's a lot of factors that go into how festivals hit you, different vibes, different brain responses, your personal experiences also. If festivals are your happy place, then your brain is already primed to soak in those good vibes. So the next time you hit a festival and you're wondering, why are you grinning ear to ear? It's because your brain is already primed and the good vibes are there. If you have your own wild festival story to share, don't keep it to yourself. I'd love to hear it. Hit that button, subscribe to the podcast, and leave me a review. It really does help the podcast grow. Anyway, thank you so much for your time. I really, truly appreciate it. And just never forget, where you are is where it's at.